Hey Chris, thank you for putting out your content. I swear every time I'm about to lose it, you always pop up with a great message or video. Gets my head back in the game, especially when I'm at work and encountering the COVID-19 patients. Wow. Your message has consistently always been about eating healthy, exercising, working on your personal development, and having the right mindset, which I feel during this time is more critical than ever, as we see so many people seemingly not handling this current situation very well. I would like to know how your mental health is holding up and how you're keeping your team motivated and focused during this time. With all responsibility, how does Chris Cavallini reset at the end of the day? Thanks so much, Lou. It's a good one.
That's a good question.
Because you guys are still working.
Yeah. We're an essential business. And, now I feel our customers, whether it's our existing customers, or we have a lot of new customers that are coming in. This is a time they need us more than ever. I made some notes here for this question, and what I'm about to say isn't a note that I made. I was unsure of how I was unsure whether I wanted to bring it up or not. But last week was actually the highest revenue week in the history of our company.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, I hate to glorify the fact that our company is financially doing well at the expense of, what's going on in society. But I think it's a testament of what's actually happening and people awakening and basically pulling, their heads out of their ass on a metaphorical standpoint, as far as realizing the importance of prioritizing their health, eating well, consuming foods that boost immunity, consuming foods that, fight and cure disease as opposed to feed it. So me personally, I've never been better mentally. I'm in a great place. Just overall, I have learned to thrive in situations where there's adversity present. When things aren't going well, I've learned to just take a firm position of seeking out the positive, searching for the opportunities present. And with the more you do that, the more experience that you have with that, the easier it becomes to do it. It used to not be like that. It, used to be where, the positives and opportunity only became noticeable, or I guess I only became aware of the things after the storm, so to speak. Once the storm passed and, things kind of settled back to normal, then I would be able to pick and decipher the learning lessons, the opportunities and things of that nature. When I learned to begin to start looking for those things in the moment, things started to get easier as far as navigating your way through that uncertain situation. And, now I knew from the beginning of this thing, this is going to be a very, very valuable opportunity for us, not on a financial spectrum, to make more money. Obviously, that's something that I guess has happened, but more so it's a good opportunity for us to finally have a way to validate to people the things that, we talk about as a company, the things that I always speak about regarding, it's like, look, the things that we talk about on this podcast. He alluded to the fact that my message has consistently been about, eating well, exercising, working on your personal development, developing your mindset, etc. I think now we're seeing just how important it is to actually do that stuff. And, the issue is a lot of times people don't begin to take those things on board until it's too late, until they're in the middle of a situation, like as we are now. But, I guess I kind of saw, I always knew at some point, man, there was going to be something that happened. There's no way to quite put your finger on it, but the world is just too complex of a thing for everything just to go super well all the time. And, the fact is, it doesn't matter if it's the coronavirus, it doesn't matter if it's a world war, it doesn't matter if it's a financial crisis. At the end of the day, the way that we prepare ourselves for all of those things is, again, through the healthy eating, through the exercise, through the working on our personal development and developing our mindset. Because when we do that, we're conditioning ourselves to be just people who are familiar with those feelings of discomfort. So when the real discomfort comes, it's not as uncomfortable for us as it is the normal person, because our physiology, our mind, it's used to experiencing those feelings. So you essentially build up an immunity to it. And, why is that important? Well, it's very important because when you're not controlled by fear, by anxiety, by stress, by panic, by all these just negative feelings that so many in society are basically, being controlled by at this point, it allows you to think clearly and make good decisions. Decisions that are in your own best interest, decisions that allow you to basically decide the best course of action for yourself, for your family, for, all those that you care about. And that's really what it comes down to. I mean, we're all in the same situation, to some degree at different levels. What's different and the thing that is going to vary the most is how we're dealing with it. Are we viewing it as the end of the world? Are we just, thinking that we're never going to be able to pay our bills, or just focusing on every worst case negative scenario? Or are we looking for the opportunity present, right? Are we, sitting at home complaining about the fact that, we're out of work and we're not going to have, the opportunity to make money for an unspecified period of time? Or are we going on offense and scouting out essential businesses that could use some help during this time? Businesses like Nutrition Solutions. I mean, I wouldn't say we could use some help. We could always use good help. I'm always actively recruiting good people. But I went on, my Instagram the other day and said that if there was anybody out of work who was looking for some, looking to earn some income during this period, I'd be happy to put some people to work. Not because we need it, because I think it's the right thing to do. And I don't know that I'm super unique in that aspect. I'm sure there's a lot of other people like me. Maybe they're not using their social media platforms, but perhaps if you presented yourself or pitched yourself, sent out a video explaining your situation and what you were prepared to do and how you could contribute during that time. I mean, I would have to think. I mean, the world's full of good people, man.
Yeah,
a lot more than not good. So that's the thing. It's like, what are you doing? Are you sitting at home doing nothing and waiting for that knight in shining armor and the white stallion to gallop in and fucking save you, or you can gallop in and hand you a duffel bag of cash? Or are you looking for ways to minimize and mitigate any sort of damage or fallout with this? So my mental state is good. My mental state has never been better. I'm just looking at just different opportunities that I can capitalize on in during this time, to help people, to inform people, to educate people, to talk people off a ledge, to teach people a better way of dealing with these things, and perhaps most importantly, to really do anything and everything that I can to make sure that when this thing blows over and life returns to a sense of normalcy, that people don't go back to their old way of doing things, where they're not prioritizing their health, they're not being disciplined with their money, they're not saving the way that they should be, they're not doing all the things they need to do to prepare themselves for the next storm.